Do you see how lonely and empty this road is at times? And so it is of our relationships with others. The roles that we have, whether we wanted them or not. So, whether you are a son or a daughter, whether you are a sibling, all right, you can be a brother or a sister, whether you're a cousin, whether you're an aunt or an uncle, whether you're a parent or a grandparent, whether you are a professional, a student, a content creator, a child of God. Are you fulfilling those roles? You alone, as well as the people around you and in your circle, knows to some degree whether or not you are fulfilling those roles. So I want to ask you, are you satisfied with the role that you play? And most of all, not all of you will fall into each and every role that was mentioned. Plus, there might be additional roles that you take on or that might be thrust upon you, however it is. It is a role that should be fulfilled. Welcome back to another video, everyone. I trust and hope that we are doing well. And in this video, I will be discussing roles and responsibilities that we have and whether or not those roles and responsibilities were fair to us or given to us and we don't have a choice. All right. And then for some, we do have choices. All right. So when it comes on to relationships and building relationships, not all of us have tight or close relationships with our family members and even friends or colleagues. So it is important that we analyze ourselves and evaluate the position that we're in and the roles that we occupy to see how much of a change or how much of a difference it is that we are making in the lives of the persons to whom we have those roles. All right, so let me deal with me first. So the first role that I have is to myself. And why I say it to myself is because my parents brought me into this world. So before I can be anything to anybody else, I first have to look at me. All right. So as an individual, as a person, and I am currently 41 years old. And as an individual, I must say 90% of my life, all right, I love to be by myself, and you know that terminology for it. All right, so I am definitely an introvert, and I'm not ashamed about it. And 10% of the other times, extrovert. I really don't mind being an introvert because guess what? That's just me. That's just my personality. I believe that everybody is an introvert and an extrovert. And why? Because not all the time you are outspoken and outgoing. So you have to analyze yourself and even certain situations, all right, that will determine what percentage of yourself is required for that particular situation. All right, and I am not saying that you have split personality, all right, because in no way, shape, or form I'm schizophrenic here, and I don't know you like that, but I'm getting to know you, so I can't say that you are schizophrenic either. But I know you understand what I'm saying, all right? And so, as my parent brought me into this world, for the 41 years that I'm here on earth, I realized the individual that I am. And all of that is shaped by two things. Two things. All right. One, it's called nurture. All right. So that has to do with my parents and how I was brought up. All right. And genetics as well. And then the next one is nature. So the environment, how I socialize. All right. All of those things. The people that I am around, the conversations that I have, or the knowledge that I have. All right. All of those things will help to determine what level of introvertness you have or what level of extrovertness you have and which one is more dominating. All right. Good. So I have been that kind of a person all my life. All right. And know that I am of age and I understand a little bit more about self and about self-awareness. I am of the fact that sometimes we are the ones that are lying to ourselves. What do I mean by that? Saying that we don't know who we are. Of course we know who we are. The person that knows us best is God. But we do know who we are. All right? Sometimes certain situation may cause us to think otherwise, but we do know who we are. All right? And the choices that we make them for various reasons. All right? So, what is your first role? Your first role is to yourself as an individual, and that is to know who you are. All right? That is to love yourself. Because even if you don't love yourself, then everybody else that loves you, you would not be able to see it. You would not be able to understand it because you have not first loved yourself. So self-love, that's very important, because no matter how many love or how much love is showered on you, you may feel like you're not loved. And for me personally, if you do not love yourself, you cannot honestly show love and give love. And so, secondly, your next role is as a son or a daughter. Now, being a son or a daughter to your parents who brought you here is definitely sometimes easy, sometimes hard. And why I say sometimes easy, sometimes hard is because we don't always see eye to eye with our parents. And so from time to time, conflict may arise. However, when those conflicts arise, it is still our responsibility as a son or as a daughter to be very respectful and very cautious of what we do and what we say. Because no matter what, they are still your parents. They are still our parents. All right? And we want to know that our parents can speak to us about anything. We want to know that our parents can be proud of us. We want to know that our parents can always have a welcome heart to receive us at any time. We don't want to be strangers to our own parent. All right, so as sons and daughters, we have to look into ourselves to see what our relationship is like with our parents, and try to adjust that if it's not in a good place. All right? Yes. And sometimes for some of us, because we did not have that solid foundation with our parents or parent from the beginning, that may also cause a gap in the relationship between our parents. But I believe that time can help to bring the gap a little bit closer. It's not going to entirely close it because of certain factors, but an improvement can do a whole lot. All right? So your next role and responsibility, and as a matter of fact, as I go through these roles, they may not all apply to just one individual or just you. All right, and you'll see what I'm saying as I go. All right, so the next role that I want to look at is the role of siblings. So are you a brother? Are you a sister? No, for persons who are the only child for their parents, then you would not occupy the role of a sibling, because you would not have a sister or a brother, all right, to share that sibling role with. But for those who have siblings, a brother or a sister, or brothers and sisters, what is our relationship like with those brothers and sisters? All right. Now, for some of us, we may have had good relationships growing up, but as each sibling gets older and they go about creating and forming their own relationships and their own lives, that relationship that you had in your younger years may be stretched. All right, and it may be stretched because of one, distance, and two, you may have disagreements. Three, it can be a case whereas you just don't communicate any at all. All right, and so whatever the situation is, if it's not in the sense whereas it's that distant, that's awesome. But once it is distant, remember that we have WhatsApp, all right? And we can send a WhatsApp message, we can send a voice note, and we can even make a phone call. So we don't have no excuse to say we don't communicate. All right, because even if the person is overseas and you can't get to call them when you want to call them, remember, WhatsApp. That's a well-known method of communication. So if you can't bother to record yourself or your voice, just send a WhatsApp message. All right. Now, if you send WhatsApp messages and they fail to communicate with you on more than one occasion, there's also Facebook Messenger. All right. There are several modes of communication out there. But if you have made communication with them and they have not returned the communication, and you have done that on more than one occasion, then definitely it's not your fault because you're reaching out, but they are not responding. All right? And then now sometimes you begin to think, what have you done wrong? Because you're not aware of any particular situation between you and them that may cause them to not wanting to communicate. But I would suggest that you still reach out. Continue to reach out. Continue to reach out. You just never know. And not just only continue to reach out. Pray to God and talk to God about the situation with your siblings. All right? And have faith that one day they'll respond. All right? And the next thing is, if it's a situation where they have blocked you in all ways from communicating with them, they know that it's a serious situation. And probably what you can do now is to get another family member involved to find out why they have blocked you or why they are not communicating with you, because you're trying to communicate with them. And as long as you are not the one that is at fault, then you don't have anything to really worry about. It's just them that have to sort out whatever issue that they're facing with you. Because sometimes, your siblings might be angry at you for something. And you yourself might have said something or done something that you don't even aware of, that it has caused an offense to them. And so you're going about your business thinking that all is well when them have you up. And so you just have to keep communicating no matter what. All right? And if it's a case where as they are nearby, and when you see them and you communicate with them and they don't want to communicate with you, that's also their problem. Just move on and continue to pray for them. All right. The next role that I need to look at, which is the third role, and that is the role of a cousin. So if you have aunts and uncles, and those aunts and uncles have children, then you're going to be a cousin. And so what relationship do you have with your cousin? Are you able to talk to your cousin? And the thing is, life, and as persons grow and develop, they can change. Because some persons, when they are younger, nothing worries them. But as you become older and you look at how things are just progressing in life, some things make you become a better individual and some things make you become worse. Nevertheless, growing up, cousins I have quite a few, and we have good relationship. We still do have good relationship. We may not talk every day, but we still do have good relationships. And when it comes on to cousins, sometimes people say, "Oh, I just my first cousin," you know. So you see, if I know me auntie or my uncle Pitney, then them are not my cousin. Cause we say first cousin, second cousin, third cousin, fourth cousin. And you know the list goes on and on and on. Once a cousin, no matter if a first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, they are cousins. Alright? And so even for cousins that we have, we need to mend those relationships that are broken. And for those that are in good stance, continue to maintain that relationship. All right. Now, so far, I have all of those roles. All right. And the next role is the role of a parent. Now, I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. And so when it comes on to parent or becoming a parent, there are times when that is a planned situation, and there are times when it is not a planned situation. However it is, you are now a parent. All right? And as parent, you need to be the first role model for your child or your children. Because sometimes when I look at it and I hear kids saying that, "Oh, you know, my role model is so and so, and my role model," and I'm like, so what happened to your parents? You know, I'm just seeing that in my head. What happened to your parents? Aren't they a good example? And I know that some parents, for a better life, they have to migrate to another country. And so the kids don't get to have that parental bond. And that may also bring a great divide between the parent and the child. But as parents, we have to be very much aware. We have to be very much aware. And I honestly believe that if we're not ready to become parents, don't have sex. And especially unprotected sex, and especially if you're not married. Then it means that you're going to bring an individual into the world that you did not want. I know for some persons, when they bring that child into this world, that child is neglected. They may provide everything for the child, you know, food, clothing, shelter. But the most important thing is the love and the care and the attention. That's just not there. Material things is not all. It helps because we need them. A child needs clothing, a child needs food. A child needs to know how to manage money. But what about your time? What about your attention? What about the hugs, the kisses? What about the "I love you"? What about "you did well in your subjects? Keep it up. You did poorly on this subject, but I know there's room for improvement and I know that you can do better." What about those things? You can't just leave them up to the mercy of the world. They will teach them any and anything. And when they teach them any and anything, then it's going to be very hard for you to help them to unlearn those things. And especially if they're not willing to unlearn it and they have become rebellious. No, I am not saying that being a parent is going to be cotton candy at all times, because most of us supposed to know what a cotton candy is and may have even once eaten a cotton candy. We know say sweet and nice. No, parenting have its hiccups too. But guess what? Children are a blessing from God. And while some of us may choose not to have children for various reasons, that doesn't make you less than an individual. Because some of us, we parent through adoption. And some of us are the best parents, even better than those who have natural birth, whether vaginal birth or C-section. And so just be the best parent that you are. If you are slacking off, or if you have not been playing your right role, start now. It's not too late. You know how many kids out there don't really know who their rightful fathers are? And so some of them yearn to know who they are. And when some of them do find out who they are, they try to have that relationship that they never had in the beginning. And some work out very well, while others didn't work out. So start today. All right? Now, in becoming parents, once we have our adult children, if they are interested in having a family, the possibility is there that one day you might be a grandparent. So for all the grandparents out there, I am not at that stage yet. And I am not rushing that stage. My kids are not at that phase for me to be wanting and ready for grandchildren. That's not even my choice. That's their choice. And I'm not. And I don't think I will be saying to them, because I've had this discussion with them already. Oh, you're 30 now. You're 35 years old now. I need my grandchildren. No, not me. Children is a big responsibility. And so there's no rush. There's no rush because one, they need to be with somebody that loves them and they loves that person back. And so it's up to them and their husband or wives. So all the grandparents out there, big up yourself. All right. I know my grandparents played an excellent role in my life. Sometimes mom and dad have to go and work to make a living, and going to work to make a living sometimes means that the kids have to come and stay with grandma. If it's for a couple hours, if it's for a day, sometimes it's for years, right? And kudos to those grandparents who they took up the task and have done a good one. All right. But I can't leave out the aunts and the uncles too. All right. So I am an aunt. All right. Many of you out there, you're aunt and uncles. And sometimes we have good relationships with our nieces and nephews. Other times we don't. All right. When it comes on to our nieces and nephews, sometimes a mother might be there, but a father isn't. And so the uncle might come in and be a man in that sense, play a manly role that that niece or that nephew doesn't have in the home where mommy is. And it's vice versa. All right. There may be, daddy might be there, but mommy might not be there. And so auntie now come in and play her auntie role or aunt role and shed some light to the female aspects of life, because not all fathers and not all uncles can express themselves thoroughly to a female. And so the female, whether it's mommy, it's auntie, it's grandma, they are a cousin, they are a sister, they are needed there to help in that regard. Even once a month, for call and say, hi Nisi, how you doing? How's school if they're off school age? How was your day? How was your week? How is everything going? What do you want to become in life? Etc. And sometimes just hearing their voice and them hearing your voice makes a difference. And then if one parent was around when you made the call, the other parent come in, they're like, mommy or daddy, you know that auntie called me today and we spoke about this and we spoke about that, and yeah, but they like talking to auntie, you know. And you know, say auntie sound rough, etc. etc. Yeah. Yeah. So another role that I want to look at is some of us may not fit this role either. And that is the role of a content creator. Now, I specifically included this because it is something that I wanted to tackle for years now. But because of the introverted person that I am, but I told myself no. All right, but then again, I look at it to say, how will you know what you are capable of? And how will you know if you'll succeed at something if you don't try? And so I decided that, all right, to just go ahead with it. And I started my channel in June. And it has been growing. And I'm glad for the experience. I am glad for the skills that I am gaining along the way. And being able to share aspects of my life, being able to share my beliefs, being able to share my experiences, being able to educate and to inform and to build a community. And so far, it has been a success. And I know I could not have done this without you, my supporters, my subscribers, and my viewers, whether new viewer or a returning viewer. I could not have made it thus far without your support and without the Almighty God. All right? No. As it always been sweet? No. There have been challenges along the way. And one of the greatest challenges that I face as a content creator is a stable internet service. Sometimes in uploading the video, I have had about 2 situations already that it took an entire day to get that video uploaded. And even when it says upload should complete within 1 hour 20 minutes, all 12 hours later, we don't reach 1 hour yet. So that's my biggest and my greatest challenge at the moment. All right. And I hope that that will be solved soon, because that's a challenge that I have been facing now for about 4.5 years. Yeah. And so I do hope that where I am located, an internet service provider can solve the issue of location, distance. Right? But the journey has been good for most of what it is. All right, so subscribe if you're new to the channel, and you're a returning viewer. Hit that subscribe button, all right, and continue to support the channel just_DBG. All right, thank you. So in continuing, the next role is, are you a child of God? Because many of us, what it is known in the world today, the big term to describe persons that are saved is they are Christians. But remember, there are different religions, all right? And not all persons classify themselves as Christians, because my religion is holiness, all right? And as a person being in holiness, being saved and trying to please God, that is what makes me the best me. I play all the other roles, and I'm average at some of them. I am good at some of them. But guess what? Accepting Christ and trying to please him through his words, that is what makes me the best me. Because what? I am fulfilling my #1 role and responsibility for which I was created for. And I'm striving to do just that. So if you have not yet accepted Christ, this is an individual journey, and it's something that cannot be forced. So don't make nobody force you to serve God. You have to want God for yourself, because if you're forced, you're not going to serve him the way that you're supposed to serve him. All right? So if you truly want to serve God, pray and talk to him. He knows your heart more than anything else, and he'll help you. If you truly want to be saved, he'll help you. with God, nothing is impossible. And so I am now living my best life in Christ and as an individual, because based on how I have been taught, and in all honesty, in my earlier years of being saved and seeking God, I never serious. You see, since the last 8.5 years of my life, I have put out every effort in trying to make my soul right with God. I wasn't playing church anymore. And so, because of that, I am thankful for the individual that I am today, and the individual that I have become, and the individual that I am still becoming, because I am learning as I go. And as long as you have life, as long as the breath is still within your body, then there's always something new that you're going to learn. At the end of the day, it depends on how you react or adapt to what you have learned. Yeah. And so, because we don't know when we're going to take our last breath, it is important that we try to do all things right. And also on that note, seeing that we don't know when we're going to take our last breath, there also might be several opportunities that may come our way that is not against the words of God, that will allow us to be involved in. And so once those opportunities are available and it's not going against the will of God, and you can take on those opportunities, go right ahead and do so. So remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to keep the likes and the comments and the shares going, as I will continue to provide you with videos on a weekly basis. Now, I just want to say, let us just review the roles and the responsibilities that we have and adjust as much as we possibly can. Because without God, you are living a good life. With God, you are living your best life. And so, you determine whether you want to live your best life or whether you just want to live a good life. Either way, the choice is yours, not mine. All right? And just remember that I am not forcing anybody to connect with God or to have a relationship with God. No. I am just informing you and educating you. And remember that you have a choice. All right? So again, if this video has resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, and you're new to the channel or you're a returning viewer, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And for my lovely subscribers, hit that like button, leave some comments below, and share the video. See you in the next one.